to the cloud. There we go. So we'll distribute this recording probably tomorrow morning, so you guys can access whenever you'd like. If you want to refer to something, reference something, you'll have the ability to do that. If you aren't talking, go ahead and keep yourself on mute. But if you do have a question during our Q&A pauses, please feel free to unmute yourself at any time. We love talking to people. And in the same regard, cameras are totally optional, definitely not required. We love seeing everyone's faces, but I know like some people, it's just, better to have it off for the evening. And then also, if you don't want to unmute yourself, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. We'll be monitoring the chat box also. So I think that's it. So we're excited tonight to have May here with us for building your holiday marketing strategy. We're going to be talking a lot about how to stand out on social media and email marketing during the holidays. I know that the holidays are in everyone's mind right now. It's something that I know at Boston Women's Market, we are like just in full speed on, and it feels like we only have days until we have to actually start our holidays. So I know this is perfect timing. We met May actually back in 2018. She's the founder of Girlfriends Boston, if you haven't heard of Girlfriends. Since then, she has moved on to start her own digital marketing strategies firm, and she's on the Boston Women's Market marketing team as our social media specialist, guru, go-to chick. So one of the things that I love about May is that she started her small business because she was inspired by her family. And that's something that I really personally connect to. She comes from a family of small business owners, and she personally saw the struggles that were involved with hiring and doing marketing and social media. And she wanted to create a service and educational resource for folks, for small businesses, that was accessible no matter, where you come from. So with that long spiel, I'll go over and hand it to May.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction, Kara.
Oh.
And it is a pleasure to be here with all of you guys today to share just a little bit more about marketing and how you guys can stand out during the holidays. The holidays, again, it's a tough time. It's everyone pulling for attention, trying to get, visibility on their pages. So hopefully the things that we go over today will help you guys stand out a little bit more. And yeah, well, let's dive right in. Let me share my screen. All right, and let me go into presenter mode. All right. So again, as Kara mentioned, if there are any questions throughout, we are a small group, so it is pretty easy to see anybody who needs to ask any questions. So feel free to interrupt us or just ask us during the breaks. All right, so if you don't already, have a notebook and your favorite pen and water bottle so we can take some notes. I did create a few slides, but every once in a while something might come up as I'm going through them, so it's great to have an additional place to take some notes. This is what we will be going over as we go through this presentation. So really just some of the basic steps of planning out your strategy, some of the basics that I recommend your profile should have, preparing to launch. So the things that you should do before executing your strategy, and then the execution portion of it. And then lastly, I'll go over just a few little details about email marketing for those of you who are implementing it for your strategy throughout the holiday season. It is really a great platform to be utilizing if you're on email, creating your email list. It's really a great place to generate some good revenue throughout the holidays without relying solely on creating content on social media. So with that being said, we will go over to, okay, there we go. We'll go over to the planet. Some of the basic things that we're going to be covering here is just defining your holiday goals, what platforms you should be on, bestsellers, your added value, fine-tuning your offers, preparing your team, creating your content calendar, I hate this little thing here. And your engagement strategy, as well as your hashtag list. So first things first, defining your holiday goals. Anything that you do on social media is going to be for something, right? So we want the strategy that you put together, you want to make sure that you're utilizing it to reach whatever goal your business has for the holidays. If your business doesn't have a goal, then we're really kind of going in blind and there won't really be a point for your marketing strategy. So understanding what it is that you want your marketing strategy to do is going to be the first step. This can look like maybe doubling your revenue, right, for the month or the couple of months that are for the holiday season. It can look like fine-tuning your customer touch points as they purchase from you. It can look really whatever is going to be increasing the any numbers that you can increase for your business is going to be great to kind of follow through here. Your marketing goals are what supports that. So whatever goals are going to support you reaching your business goals is what we want to reach. So if you want to double your income goals, for example, a good marketing goal would be, how can you generate more leads? Or let's say you want to have more followers. How can you convert those followers to be purchasers and people who are going to be buying from your customers, from your website? Next, you want to decide what strategies you want to implement. So whether that's organic content strategies, maybe paid ads, or even email marketing. I love to use a combination of all three, but that's not always ideal. So you can pick the one that you are the most confident in. So if you've never done paid ads before, obviously you won't want to start off your holiday strategy with some paid ads. Maybe you want to focus on content marketing. And then again, email marketing for those of you who are already implementing it in your marketing strategies. And then lastly, marketing is all about testing, knowing what's working and what isn't working. So you want to make sure that you take your before notes. So write down your analytics before you start implementing your holiday strategy. You want to make sure that you write down whatever metrics you're tracking. So whether that is followers, if followers is what you're trying to increase, you can track your reach, your impressions. All of this is inside the analytics tab under your Instagram profile. So you can find all of those numbers in there. And then if you're wanting to convert leads or anything like that, you want to make sure that you have a way of knowing where your customers are coming from. So whether you have a place at checkout where people can share where they found you, those are good ways to kind of measure some of the conversions that would be coming from social. Next, you want to make sure you are choosing your platforms. So it is very tempting to try to be on all of the platforms, especially as we go into the holiday season, but it's important not to spread yourself too thin. You can pick I would say up to 3 platforms that you can stay the most consistent on, and that will bring you the most return. So if you have a majority of your following already on Instagram, obviously I would say go ahead and stick to Instagram, maybe add TikTok because you can really utilize some of the same content to post on there as well. Or if you are already, like let's say you have a lot of blog posts, a lot of more content-based information, and you already have a good following on Pinterest, maybe implement Pinterest in there as well. Twitter, not my favorite. I will say it. It's really, I usually don't see the point in it. But again, if you already have a good following in there, just try to prioritize the ones where you think you'll have the most conversions in, especially during the holiday season. Next, you want to focus on your main sellable products. A lot of people have a wide range of products, and although we can give those some attention, it's good to focus on whatever your best sellers are, as well as items that make good gift giving. So items that you can include in your holiday guides, gift guides, anything that would make a good stocking stuffer is great to really push. And then if you have any seasonal items, for example, I worked with a client who released an exclusive seasonal scent for their room spray. Those are great ideas to kind of throw in there. It gives people something new that you don't usually sell. And again, it provides that urgency where it's really only available during that season. Another brand that did this recently is the Sanders chocolates. They released a maple, it's a very fall flavor of their chocolates. But again, seasonal items, things that they can only get during this time are also great to incorporate in there. These percentages here, you don't have to do it the way that it's here. But again, whatever is going to make great gifts, I would say try to push that the most, followed by your best sellers, because you already know that they bring in good sales. Seasonal items and stocking stuffers, I'd say they're both kind of right there neck and neck, with stocking stuffers being maybe just a little bit more important because people usually are looking for those last minute smaller items that they can just incorporate, and it's great to add an extra value at checkout. Next, you want to think about the offers that you're going to be promoting. Whatever it is you can do to make your offer irresistible. Remember, you are fighting for attention during the holidays. So you want to make sure that whatever you're offering is captivating enough to get people to check out. And usually what I like to think about is what usually makes me complete the sale. You guys are all shoppers, we're all shoppers. So thinking about your own experience as a customer is a great way to kind of bring that over and implement it into your own customer experience. So a few ideas that you can incorporate is free shipping. Maybe you can offer free shipping over a certain amount of dollars spent. If you have a rewards program, it's a great benefit to add, and it's great to promote on social media as well. Any free gift with purchase. People love free, people love hearing free, and they love getting free stuff. So if there's any like small trinket, for example, last year I ran a campaign where they were launching, like the first 50 people to purchase got a free beanie that was, part of the brand. So any little thing that is either customizable, adds value, is great. Discounts to use at a later date. So if they buy now, they get a discount, that they can use in a couple of weeks or months. Old Navy is great with this. Every time you shop at Old Navy, you get a discount you can come back to and use later on. And then anything that is exclusive. So if you can offer them, free access to the next sale, or like early access to an upcoming sale, early preview to anything that might be coming out, anything that offers exclusivity is going to be great to play around with in your marketing strategy. Next, your minimum and maximum percentages off. So although I don't love working with discounted items, it is something that we implement with, especially during the holidays when, again, we're really just trying to make sure people are purchasing from us versus anybody else or any competitors. So a couple of percentages that I do like to play around with during the holidays, 10 and 20% off for mini sales. These are more for like one-off sales that aren't really part of any major event or holiday. Like let's say, I don't know, like October 15th through the 17th, you want to offer like a 2-day sale. These are good percentages to play around with. So 10 and 20% off. 30% off, I'd say, are great for flash sales. So if you want to just have like a boost in sales, you can do like a 30% off flash sale for, I don't know, like 24 hours or for the next couple of hours. It's really just to increase and have an added boost. You don't want to have a sale this big for too long. And then 40 and 50, I would save those percentages, obviously, for the bigger holidays. So obviously Black Friday, maybe the only time you'll offer a 50% off is during Black Friday weekend, and maybe 40% off for Small Business Saturday. Play around with those values and what's comfortable for you, but also think about what you can add that would be beneficial. So going back to the previous slide that we were just on, what are the things that you can offer to add value versus having to discount your items, and try to save more of these discounts for, during the heavier times like Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and then Cyber Monday, things like that.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Well, discounts, like, as you said, like discounts could be so tricky because it's almost like the more frequently you have a discount, or
Mhm.
the higher the discount is, it almost like to the customer's like perspective can decrease the value in their eyes. So do you have any advice about balancing that? Because I think if a customer sees that this product is constantly on sale, it's like maybe they start questioning its quality or how it's made. So are there any other, I guess maybe this goes back to the other slide, like, are there any other incentive ideas that could be coupled with a discount or kind of prevent that? Or do you have any insight into that thought?
So I have I was working with a client who insisted on us having weekly sales, right? So every week we were pushing out like 10% off, 15% off, whatever it was, to kind of really boost the sales. They wanted to see the numbers coming in. And so we played around with that. 2 months ago, we switched to a one sale a month strategy instead versus pushing it out every week. And throughout the month, we were pushing out emails where we were featuring some of the products, giving people more information about what the products were, what they did, how they could help them. So we work with women who are going through menopause, so their products help, the menopause symptoms. And it was really surprising because after this month or two of us implementing this strategy, we saw that their sales increased. So not only were people purchasing from those one-off feature emails, they were also waiting or expecting maybe that one day only where they got a chance to shop the products at a discounted rate. Not saying that they didn't purchase it at full price when we sent the other emails, but when we sent that one time, our sale number, like the amount that they sold, surpassed the amount that was sold in the weekly emails that we were sending. So I would say it really balances out. One thing is with discounts, I would, especially if you have emails, and we'll get more into this once we go down to the email section, but especially with emails, is making sure that you're targeting the right people, segmenting your accounts to make sure that whoever you're speaking to, like let's say if somebody is a frequent purchaser, you probably don't want to offer them a discount because they're already buying from you full price. You don't want to throw them in there too often. With social media, sales can come off as tacky. They're not the greatest strategy to implement, but again, when everybody else is doing it, it's okay. So during the holidays, I would say use them, try to use these to bring more attention to your shop, but throughout the year, I would say limit, especially social media sales, to maybe once a month, or what, like max 2 times. I wouldn't really focus on the sales that you can bring. I would focus more on the value that your products have, showcasing how to use them, how other people are using them. That's how I would implement sales for social.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That helped answer it.
Yeah, no, that was great.
And then just a little break here, a little note is making sure that you have support. Social media is a full-time job. And if you are running your own business and also having to run your entire marketing strategy, it can be a little overwhelming. So just making sure that you have some support or understanding some of the boundaries that you'll have for yourself will really help you stay consistent instead of trying to do everything at once and not staying consistent at all. So that's just a little reminder there. Next up, we'll go into building your content calendar. So when you're building your content calendar, it's really going to serve as a master plan for what you're expecting to do in the coming months. If you haven't already started creating content calendar, I would suggest you begin now. October, we already start with Halloween coming up. There are other holidays that are coming up that you want to make sure you are prepared for. Usually what I see is people waiting till the very last minute, and then there are a lot of missed opportunities. So if you have the capability of taking some time, maybe this weekend, to sit down and brainstorm everything that's coming up and what you can offer for your business specifically, that would be ideal. So thinking about events and holidays that are coming up, you want to make sure that these are on your calendar first, especially the ones that you plan on participating in with your business. And then the rest of your calendar, you can create around it. Once you decide what holidays you want to be part of, what major like sale days you want to be part of, I suggest creating supporting material. What that will look like is making sure that you have templates that'll help your content stay on brand, especially on social media. Creating any freebies, downloadables that you can kind of use as lead generation, and then typing out any blog posts that will eventually tie into your strategy. And then you can add these release dates to your calendar as well. Blog posts, especially like gift guides, gifts for her, gifts for him, gifts for mom. Like, try to think of who your product is serving, who it's ideal for, and then create some of the supporting documents that will come into play once you begin promoting your strategy on social. And then one thing that I am huge on is collaboration. If you have people in your network that you can kind of partner with for giveaways, for Instagram lives, for story takeovers, those again are all great to tap into an audience that isn't already yours. But if they have a similar, like if your network, the people in your network have a similar audience that you're looking for, it's a great way to get in front of their eyes right before the holidays.
I have another question
Sure.
related to that. So I know, about the creating templates, creating for things like social media. I know there's a lot of like different data about performance of posts that use like graphic templates versus with images and videos embedded versus just using images and video. You know what I mean? Like, you can go into Canva, you can get all these awesome social media templates that have some cool elements, maybe some cool illustration designs, cool backgrounds, that sort of thing. But I know there is data about them performing a little bit differently than just pure photos and videos.
Yes. So I should have been a little bit more clear. So with templates, I want to make sure that whenever you're using templates, they're mostly for stories, so that when people are scrolling through, they can see right away that this belongs to your brand. Another way to use templates I'm going to talk about Instagram specifically, is if you have like a giveaway coming up. So you want to make sure that that giveaway is on brand. Usually with holidays, a lot of people want to implement the holiday colors, and that completely messes up whatever it is they're doing. So it just makes the feed look very messy. So I would use templates like if you have a quote post, or if there is like, let's say you have a product photo that you want to showcase. If you have little designs around the photo that implement your color or implement something that's holiday like, to help your image stand out a little bit. With that being said, video is 100% taking over. So I wouldn't even recommend having too many templates ready to go. It would be more for people who don't rely on video content. So if they won't be creating a lot of video content, then have some templates ready to go to help your brand stay on brand on social media. But there are definitely numbers that support against having too much of a curated feed, 100%. All right. Next, a hashtag list. Hashtags are great to help your post be categorized. It is great, again, to find people who could potentially be interested in your content. And usually we can create those here at Boston Women's Market, but if you want to go ahead and create your own, here are just a few tips to keep in mind. So finding hashtags that are relevant in your niche. this is all things that you should have beforehand, before even implementing any kind of strategy, is understanding who your audience is, what pain points you're solving. And then if you have like just some basic content pillars that you can use, that's where you want to base your hashtags on. Next, you want to make sure that the hashtags that you're using are active and are not spammy. So to make sure that your hashtags are active, all you have to do is type the hashtag out, search it, and then go to the Recents tab when you click on it and see if there are any recent posts. Usually, I won't use a hashtag that nobody has posted in more than a day. Again, it just means that the hashtag isn't as active as you'd want it to be. And then going through the images and making sure that it's not spammy. Spammy looks like, I want to say you'll know when you see it, and when you click on it, you'll be able to tell if the content is spammy or if it's like legitimate and actual people are using it. You can also mix in hashtags where your audience could be hanging out in. So for example, if I have a brand targeting women in their 30s, let's say women who like to work out, chances are they're probably using different hashtags like SoulCycle or Bar Groove, which is a local Boston fitness studio. So you can also look for hashtags where you think your audience is going to be hanging out. So you don't have to only focus on posts or hashtags that are going to be categorizing your posts. You can also look for them in that way. And then your engagement strategy. So engagement is really important. And I think engagement is a little bit different than community management. So community management is making sure that you are responding to comments that are left on your content or in your posts, on your reels, and then making sure that you're replying to stories, like people who send you DMs, replying to those. Your engagement strategy is really to help you have a bigger reach on Instagram. So first things first is you want to decide how much time you have to engage each day. A sweet spot is 30 minutes per day. Obviously, if you have more time, spend more time doing it. And I would say minimum lowest amount is about 15 minutes per day if you can add that to your schedule. Usually I'll break down the time evenly between the following categories. That way they're all kind of getting the attention that they need. So first and foremost, you'll engage with your current followers. So you'll just go to your follower list, find a few profiles that are there already and engage with them, whether that is going to their profile and watching their stories, reacting to their stories, leaving actual meaningful comments on their most recent posts, liking their content. Again, don't be spammy with it. Don't just like a million photos if their profile is open. Just be intentional with the actions that you're taking in those 10 minutes for the followers. The following 10 minutes, you can spend engaging with the engaged followers of your competitors. So if you know who your competitors are, the people who are killing it in your industry, you want to make sure that you're going on their profile and engaging with their engaged followers. That will look like people who either liked or commented on their most recent posts. So just go in there. You can go ahead and again, the same strategy that you use for your followers, you can go in there, leave some engaging comments under their posts, leave some likes, watch their stories, spend those 10 minutes like that. And then the last 10 minutes, really just for users under active hashtags of your posts for that day. So whatever hashtag little bank you use for the post, just go in there and engage with a few accounts that are under each of those hashtags for the day. That's how I like to break it down. It's a very basic engagement strategy that you can incorporate, and it really should help increase your reach and visibility, especially throughout the holidays.
We have a question in the chat from Erica, and she was wondering, do you recommend using all 30 hashtags on Instagram?
So I have seen a mix of feedback, right? When I either use all 30 or I use maybe just like a mix between 5 to 10 hashtags. It's really going to depend on one, how many followers or how engaged your account already is. If you already have very high engagement and you have a good amount of followers, I would say stay between the 5 to 10. It doesn't make too much of a difference. If your account is fairly new and you're just starting out, I would definitely make use of all 30 hashtags, just because, again, it helps you get in front of more eyes. And it doesn't hurt. So Instagram doesn't like penalize you for it. So it really is just going to depend. And if you have the time to test with your own account, I would test it out. So do a couple of posts a week with the 30 hashtags, do a couple of posts a week with 5 to 10 hashtags, see how it performs for your account, see what has more reach, what has more likes, more saves, things like that. Just make note of that, and then you can kind of recreate it as you fine tune it a little bit more for your own profile.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Sure. All right. Next, we are just going to go over some profile basics. These I want to make sure you guys all have before you begin pushing any content or engaging with anybody to bring them onto your profile. So again, one, making sure that you're branded. What this looks like is either if you're a personal brand or if you sell, a service-based, anything else like that, either you have a logo, a very clear logo on your profile, or you have a picture very clear of yourself if it's a personal brand. That's the very first thing people are going to see when they go onto your profile. So it needs to be identifiable with your business. Number 2 is having an understanding for your audience. Again, this is all things that you should have beforehand, understanding who you're talking to, the problems that you're solving for them, again, the pain points that your product is going to resolve. You want to make sure that you know that before you start marketing. Next, updating your highlights with bingeable content. So this is actually a fairly new concept where people are utilizing their highlights as kind of like their own personal, like Netflix. It's where they add content where it keeps people wanting to watch more. Usually you'll get something like that when you are providing obviously content of value, especially on stories. So if you have a lot of how-tos, a lot of like advice, again, I'm sure there's like a range of businesses here, but trying to implement that with your own content is key on keeping people on your profile, understanding more about your product, and then hopefully getting them through their buyer journey with you. Next, you want to make sure you're updating your pinned content. Pinned content came out pretty recently, and it's a great feature to have to get important information across right away. It'll be some of the first few posts that your new audience is going to come across. So it's important to have important information on there that can help them make the decision to purchase from you right away. So whether that's how to use your product or people experiencing your product, anything that can kind of get them to go through their buyer journey. Next is making links easy to access. So your website, if you have a subscription, like a newsletter where people can subscribe, if you have any, like a giveaway happening where they have to go out and sign up for it, making sure that your links are easy to access is also going to be key. Making your profile name searchable. And I'll show you what that looks like in the next slide. Updating your bio. So a lot of times people have clunky bios that aren't very direct and to the point. So making sure that you answer most important questions about your business on your bio is also very important. And then making sure that your CTA is clear. Somebody who does this really well that I really love is Boards by Mo. So she is a Boston charcuterie based business. She is also pretty new. I believe she started her business, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago. And everything about her profile screams, let me stay here and enjoy it a little bit more. So her videos, they're very well thought out. if you go on her profile, you can see branding based on how she edits her photography, right? So it's kind of all looking the same. They all have the same style. Branding doesn't necessarily have to mean she has all these templates. Again, even just a simple way that you edit your imagery or your videos is going to help you stand out. Up here, you can see she has very clear her business name, so Boards by Mo, but she's also made her username searchable, so Boston Charcuterie. When people type in Boston Charcuterie on Instagram, it is very likely that her profile will show up because of that. Next, she points out very clearly what she does. So she does custom charcuterie arrangements, and she also offers courses on how to get started with your own business in the charcuterie industry. She has a clear call to action, so she wants you to subscribe for her exclusive content, or she wants you to order now. Again, she has a link. Well, usually I call them link trees, but there are millions of other websites that do it. She has a link pop where if you click, all of her links are in there, very easy to access. And down here, you'll notice that she has updated all of her highlights. So people who are interested in learning more about how to start a charcuterie business, once they go on to some of these highlights, she provides a lot of value. Questions that she has answered before, questions that, you know, she has come across as a business owner. So it really just makes the content, if I am trying to start my own charcuterie business, very easy to watch. And that's what you want to recreate for your own profile. Another account, this one, if you look at it, it looks like it's doing very well in terms of what we talked about, but a few little notes that this brand can do. Again, making sure that the username is searchable, having a more engaging highlights. So here she focuses a lot on things that they love, results, their tips. But if they had more engaging highlights, things that people can or want to watch more frequently, that would be ideal. They also do a very good job with their content down here. It is pretty on brand. Their pinned content is pretty much how to use their sleepy tie. So that's a great way to utilize pinned posts. But yeah, there are small little adjustments that they can make to make this profile even better. Are there any questions so far?
Well, I mean, everyone, please use the chat. I know I've been asking all the questions, but please do put your questions in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself. So going back to the very beginning of the presentation, we were talking about, you know, not spreading yourself too thin and choosing the platform that you feel is best for you. Do you have any more tips about how to do that? Because I'm sure certain products or certain industries perform better than others on various platforms. I know there's a lot of data about age ranges of your customer bases too, and their preferences. Do you have any more info about how to make that right decision?
So first, if you can, I would invest in some kind of scheduling tool, even if it's just for the holidays, right? So you don't have to utilize it. If staying on all platforms is important for you, I would utilize some kind of scheduling tool. That way you don't have to think about it too often. When you're selecting just a few, again, I would really just focus on where your content performs the best. So if you're on Pinterest and you get a lot of repins and those repins get you a lot of subscribers or visitors to your website, I would use Pinterest. If Instagram is really slow for you, but TikTok right now is booming, I would focus your whole strategy around TikTok. So for the holidays, it's not really about growing a specific platform. It's about using the ones that you're already strong in to bring in the sales. It's the time that your marketing strategy should have already been created, and now we're just fine tuning it so that we're bringing the sales in that we need to reach the Q4 goals. again, it's good to be on all platforms if you can. A lot of people do try to juggle all of them, and it makes it look more, it makes it look like they're not as consistent, which is not what we want. We want to make sure that they're showing up on their picked platform more often and more strategically, instead of trying to juggle all of these platforms and not really creating any quality content for either of them.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Not sure if that answered.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Next, we want to just make sure that we are preparing to launch. So having everything done in advance, as we talked about before. A big one also is batch prepping reels. Again, video has taken over. So if you can batch prep all of your reels, what I do for a few of the people that I work with is create reel recording steps. So this basically just means that we have planned out and thought of every single reel we're doing for the month. And then you literally just have to sit and record it. Depending on, obviously it is on what you're creating. So if you can batch your reels, that would be ideal. Creating any blog posts in advance, again, reaching out for potential collaborations. Also even writing pitch emails to get your blog posts featured, especially if they're gift guides. If you have people in your network that you can reach out to, other bloggers who could potentially feature some of your posts, that would be great. And then having at least 2 weeks of content ready to go, again, would also be ideal. Things definitely change as you go through the month. But having 2 weeks of content ready to go would be great. And then as you go along, you can fine tune some of the things that are on your calendar. You can either add new things or remove some things that didn't perform too well. That is the way that I usually like to do it. And again, don't try to do too much. Whereas if you get to the middle of the month and you notice that some things aren't working, now you have just a bunch of content that you can't really use and you're going to have to rethink about it. And then also just making sure that you're strategic on stories as well. So stories are a great way to keep your audience's attention. A lot of people utilize stories to show a lot of behind the scenes of their day-to-day. If that's not something that you're into doing, just making sure that you understand how you're going to be showing up each day, whether it's yourself or your business. So do you have this or that you can showcase? One person that does really well with their stories is Rococo Floral Co. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of them. They are Boston based. I believe they're in Somerville, and they do really well on their stories. It's a great profile to go in and get some inspiration from. Another profile that does really well is a profile called Little Ray of Health. She is always on her stories, providing a lot of valuable content about her services and what she offers, and just utilizing some of again, using these profiles as inspiration can help you decide how you want your business to show up. Another thing that's really important is making sure that your sales pitches are seamless within your daily stories. So Little Ray of Health, for example, she is a gut health expert, and she frequently talks about how different foods affect your gut health, how different, like she'll show examples of meals that she is eating throughout the day, and then she'll throw in little pitches of her services and how she can help you kind of reach the same thing. Take note of some of these strategies that these people use and see how you can implement it for your own business, your own products. Because Boston Women's Market is kind of an array of services, it's really hard to maybe pinpoint somebody who is exclusively doing something that could be beneficial for your account. And sometimes it won't even be people in your own industry that you can look for inspiration. So try to look for inspiration on accounts that maybe have nothing to do with your industry and are just really killing it on stories. Try to think about creative ways of how you can bring that content over to your own stories. So there's this account called and I'll say it here, but I apologize, Betches. They do really well with their stories, and they don't show up like specifically. So the content that they create really just keeps people scrolling through their stories. So people don't normally skip through their stories. They want to see what's coming up next. So focusing on other accounts could also really help. And then again, just making sure that you're updating your story highlights to answer any questions, especially for holiday season. It's great to have a holiday highlight where you're talking about shipping, you're talking about the products that you have, any new launches that are coming out, anything that could be a frequently asked question throughout the holidays is good to add to one of those highlights. And then one thing I implement with people who have the time to is just having an actual schedule for your stories. And I know it can be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you are doing it on your own. But again, a lot of the content that you post can be reutilized. So on stories, it's great to have something that people look forward to. So Boards by Mo, for example, she again is very strategic on her stories. What she would do every morning is she would make her coffee in the morning on camera, on stories. And people literally live for it. And if she stops making her coffee on stories, she'll get like flooded with like DMs, where is your morning coffee pour? Like people look for it. So if there's anything that you can implement daily for your stories, that would be ideal. And when I talk to people about this, it really does not have to be something that you overthink. It can be something as easy as, like, let's say you have an office and you go to your office every morning, just opening the door and turning the lights on. Like that's your habit that you're doing on stories every day. Or let's say you always have the same thing for lunch, showing yourself or showing what you're having for lunch. That would be great. Anything that can kind of provide some consistency for people is great to have. So making sure that you have some kind of schedule. So like, let's say you have a morning routine that you want to show on stories, or maybe an evening routine that you want to show on stories, or maybe like packing orders. TikTok is exploding right now just with people packing other people's orders. It's something that they're always posting. It's content that they always have. And it's content that people, especially you guys who are, selling products, can incorporate for your businesses as well. Those are just some little pointers on stories. And then action, right? After you have all of this planned out, all of this put together, you want to make it as easy for you as possible. So again, as I mentioned before, having a content scheduler would be very ideal, especially for you if you're good at planning content in advance, if you're good at having things ready to go. You can put all your content for the week and it'll send you like notifications on when to post, or it can even send it to a team member to make things easier for you. With Reels, a lot of content schedulers won't let you auto-publish them with the audios. So, and one thing that I've noticed is sometimes Instagram will, like if you save it in drafts, sometimes it just won't be there anymore. So it's very important to have a backup. Make note of the sound that you're editing your reel to. Usually you can get a link for that sound, and you can add it to like just like a Google Doc with the link to your video that is saved maybe on an external drive somewhere. Once you start publishing your holiday content, again, you can analyze how it's performing and make changes to your strategy as needed, and then just repeat what is working for you and your account specifically. Any questions with that?
If anyone has any questions, please go ahead and unmute yourself or put it in the chat. One thing that I love is the idea of doing something every day. So like I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, like what could we do? And maybe it's just like a good morning, like,
Yes.
Good morning, Boston Women's Market, peeps. And maybe it's me just like walking my dog in the morning for a couple seconds. And it's just like every morning, just a little snippet of like, #StartYourDay or something like that, you know? I think that's
Anything that is something
fun.
that you can stay consistent with, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes people will want to do something really grand and be like, oh, okay, like overthink it. But it can, like, again, something as easy as like writing in your journal, if you write in a journal every morning, and it doesn't have to be related to your business specifically. It can just be related to your day-to-day, behind the scenes, things like that.
Yeah, that's something that I have a hard time getting over is like putting me in the equation.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like as the like, you know, business owner, like putting yourself into the equation but people want to see that. People want to know who you are and they want to know what you're, you know, when
Check out
going.
Rococo Floral Co. They do a beautiful job. I love all of their stories,
Okay.
and they put their personality in it. They are in it sometimes, but not always. But you can still see their personality through some of the stories that they create.
Okay, great.
And then I see here, Erica, if I have any recommendations for content schedulers. So I do have some recommendations on the last slide, but Creator Studio is amazing. It is free. It is something that you can incorporate. It can be a little bit clunky sometimes, especially because it only caters to Facebook and Instagram. So if you have any other platforms that you're utilizing, it won't help with that. So some of the suggestions that I have towards the end will help. But Content Creator is really great.
I'll have to check that one out. I haven't seen that one yet.
The Creator Studio, it's directly inside of Facebook.
Oh,
So
no, content. Oh, just content creator. That's just in
sorry, I said it wrong. It's Creator Studio.
Okay. Yes, I've used that before. Sure.
Yeah. And then Kathy's asking if Kara, will you guys have this recording somewhere?
We're going to upload it to our YouTube channel, which has all our entire library of workshops. And we'll send you the link to it tomorrow morning.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Now we'll just go into some email marketing basics. So if you have email and you're already utilizing them, these are some of the good basics that you can start implementing. So again, we mentioned freebies and lead magnets. This is great to just build your email list. So people are opting in, they're signing up. Freebies, checklists, mini ebooks. If you can even have your gift guide set up this way, where they can only get your gift guide if they sign up for your list. Might kind of what's it called? Cross themselves out. But again, it could be a way that you can bring more people in. Next is making sure that you have the key workflows set up if your platform allows you to. So I know that there are a few platforms, I won't know them off the top of my head, but they don't allow automated workflows. But a few workflows that you want to make sure that you're having is like a welcome flow, a post-purchase flow, especially an abandoned cart flow for the holidays, maybe a browse abandonment if your email marketing provider allows you to. Next is making sure that segmentation is clear before you start sending out your campaigns, categorizing your audience so that you're sending them more targeted communication will be ideal to avoid having your emails going to spam or, you know, having like bounce rates or sending people information that they just don't want to be receiving at the moment. So let's say you're promoting this huge sale that's coming up, but I just bought like $200 worth of your products last night. I'll be probably upset that you're sending me this this huge sale 2 days later. So just making sure that you know who you're talking to. Usually all of the email marketing providers will let you segment. I don't think there are any on the market right now that don't let you do this. So again, just making sure you know who you're talking to with the campaigns that you're sending is going to be ideal. Brainstorming campaigns. Again, just think of campaigns that you can send to your audience throughout the holidays. I'm going to recommend a company that you can follow on Instagram and on YouTube. They're actually the company that I used to work for. So I used to work professionally as an email marketer. This company, they provide a lot of free information that you can utilize. And it's actually a lot of the same things we used to utilize with our clients who were paying them crazy amounts, probably over $5,000 a month to run their email marketing strategies. So definitely make use of the ideas that they have on there. And I'll recommend a book that you guys can purchase from them. I think it's like $10 on Amazon, but it's really for people who are wanting to implement email marketing for their holiday campaigns. And then lastly, just making sure that you're defining your sale days, know which sales, again, you want to participate. It'll be very similar to your social media marketing strategy. But usually with sales on email, you want, again, to focus on either 2-day sales, or you can focus on week-long sales. So let's say if you have a week-long sale, let's say each day you're focusing, let's say 10% off on a certain product or 15% off on a certain category of products that you have on day 2. You can do sales that are leading up to your like the major sales, things that are VIP sales. We'll go into that here. So a few strategies, again, that you can incorporate are just early bird opt-ins. You can encourage people to sign up for the newsletter to get early bird access to any upcoming holiday sales. So a lot of bigger companies will do something like a preview of Black Friday, and you can only get that information if you're on the early bird list. Those are some great tactics to incorporate, especially around the holidays when you're trying to avoid doing the majority of your sales on Black Friday where everybody else is doing it that day. You can get people to start shopping from you a little bit earlier. Again, incorporating some flash sales. These, again, are just a great way to step away from the buzz of the regular sale days where everybody else is fighting for attention. And then lastly is creating automations. So if you have workflows already set up for your email marketing, you want to duplicate them and then customize them to include holiday lingo, right? So if we're focusing on certain holidays that are coming up, maybe you have a welcome flow that introduces the holiday sales that are coming up, anything that's more holiday related. Your browse abandonment, you can kind of use some copy in there that, again, is just more related to the holidays. And this is a great way to do something that's already working, but make it more customized for the holiday season and to include your holiday promos that are coming up. Again, a lot of this information and more details are found in that book. So I have it here for you guys, the name of the website. Here are just a few resources that I like to use and recommend. So everything here are things that I use on a daily. So Canva for any graphic design, or creativemarket.com for template purchases. So if you want to stay on brand, but you don't want to use the same Canva templates that everybody else is using, Creative Market has a lot of very cheap templates that you can purchase and customize for your business using your font and your colors. Unsplash.com is a free stock photo website that you can find a lot of high quality photography. It does take some skill to search the platform, but once you kind of get a hang of it, it's a great place to find a lot of quality imagery. Pexels, also free stock, but they also offer really great quality free stock videos. So with Reels being very popular right now, these are great for doing things like searching the waves hitting, and you can put like a quote on top of it and use that as a reel. So they're very good with that. And then the Lightroom app is something that I use every day. It's a free app that you can download on your phone for easy photo editing. I don't think they allow video editing yet, but I can recommend another video editing one. CapCut, I actually forgot to put on here for reel editing, which is a very easy app that you can use for just cutting up any video content that you have and making them into trendy reels. A few scheduling tools that I recommend, later.com is the one that I use. I did try Plan That. Wasn't my favorite, but it's still a very good tool. And then there's also Planoly that a lot of people use, that I didn't put on here, but you can take note, planoly.com. Email marketing platforms, my favorite and the one I recommend all the time is Klaviyo. If you can't be on Klaviyo, MailChimp is a good alternative. Again, it doesn't have as many robust features as Klaviyo is going to offer you. But for what it's worth, MailChimp does the job. And then flowem.com, follow them on social media, especially on YouTube. They have a lot of great tips on how to really implement email marketing as part of your strategy. And again, they also have that free, well, I actually believe it's free right now. If you go on their Instagram profile, they were having a discount where you could get it for free for a couple of days. So you can check their Instagram to see if their book is still available for free and implement some of those strategies before. And I believe that is the end of our presentation.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, May.
Yeah.
It's like, it's such good content, and it kind of just at the same time makes me think like, oh my God, I still have so much to do. Like,
No, I don't want it to be overwhelming.
oh, no, it's in a good way because it's like motivating. It's like, okay, like I
good.
know I'm already behind schedule. I need to start, like, what day am I going to dedicate to really like just
Yeah.
dive into all this? So it's so
Mhm.
good, and it's so good to talk to some people like everyone here, because it gets you thinking from different perspectives and makes you think about ideas that you would probably, as an entrepreneur, it's very hard to, you know, come up with new ideas yourself. So it's always great to hear outside perspectives and hear from other people. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and Ilka,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the comment. I will admit I was a little nervous. I'm a very shy person. I was talking to Kara right beforehand. But thank you for your comment.
Yeah, you always say that, but then whenever you present or we have conversations, you're so eloquent.
Oh, well, it's practice. I've been practicing.
Keep doing it. You're awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today.
Guys.
And yeah, as I said, I'm going to circulate this recording tomorrow morning. So you
Perfect.
can definitely watch all of our workshops on our YouTube channel.
Oh, perfect.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good night,
Great
everyone.
seeing everyone.
Bye.
Bye.